Click on that.
Okay.
And are we being recorded?
Oh, not yet. Thank you.
Yeah. Aha.
Aha. I think we're live, gentlemen.
Oh,
Okay.
We're live. We're
I
live.
think, oh man, it is time to talk cosmology, boy, big time. Along with telescopes and space stuff, astrophysics, but we try to keep it simple and understandable for all. Slowly building an audience. I'm sure our good friend Tim Crawford will be on board, maybe others. It's 11 o'clock on a Monday morning. It's the weekly podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We proudly call the SBAU Astro Hour. Stands for Santa Barbara Astronomical Unit. It's our local Santa Barbara Astronomy Club. And this is a biggie. This is the half-year mark. Week number 26. We've done this for 6 months. I believe 26 is half of 52 weeks in a year. And it features from their homes on Zoom every Monday morning, as well as on YouTube. Our club's Brain Trust. My name's Baron Ron Herron, proud to be on the board. Missed those board meetings. Missed people like Colin Taylor with his wide brim hat, our treasurer. But let's meet the Brain Trust, everybody, starting with the president of the club in his 4th season, Jerry Wilson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
His wife, Pat, is baking a cake in the background. Probably have it by the end of the show. You'll have to blow out the candles for our 26th week. Here's our outreach coordinator doing some outreach, ChuckMcP. Hello there,
Good
Chuck.
morning.
Wife, Pat, is our merchandise manager. Everybody fine, healthy? 2 shots?
Yep. All's well.
Some of us are going electric cars. Wish I could talk more about that. The man that runs the show is our incredible webmaster, technical wizard, former President TomT. With the, is that our Santa Barbara Astronomical Unit logo behind you? It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
I believe I have
made
that.
by Jim Williams did that logo for us.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Graphic designer.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's what I sewed on a white shirt. I bought a $5 patch. from
That's
your
it.
wife. Was that what it is?
Mhm.
I had
Yeah.
people ask about it. We have our incredible former Westmont College science instructor on board, editor of our incredible newsletter, Tom Whittemore.
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah.
What's Panera Bread give it a run for its money? Making this incredible. What is it? What is the kind of bread it's
Well,
Sourdough.
today,
what?
I started bread. Yeah, today I actually milled an einkorn loaf, so an ancient grain loaf.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
gave me one of those. Well, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I think I did give you einkorn, and these are from fresh milled berries, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
But
People in the people
are
in
they
Tom's-
are they
Yes.
gluten free?
No.
No, Jerry, because the other components have enough gluten to make this thing pop. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to have gluten, Jerry. You got
Gotta
to
have
have.
gluten.
Well, we know the place smells incredible in your neighborhood, and your wife Maureen doing all right. Like the rest of us, ready for our 3rd shot. And we may be joined by Bruce Murdoch, who
He's
is
coming in.
Is he coming in right now? Do we know?
Yeah.
Tim
Hopefully.
Crawford, could join us. But I guess he's a little shy sometimes, isn't he? He runs tomorrow night's regular telescope workshop, doesn't he? On Tuesdays, we have a Zoom meeting with him. Jerry, you're on board that, aren't you? Usually.
Yeah. Usually.
Here it comes. Says second fire. There he is.
Hello, Bruce.
Another ugly beard.
Took me minutes to get logged on. It didn't want to go through. I kept redoing it. Finally, this time, it kind of takes its time. It got there.
Your microphone's messing again.
Yeah, you're popping a little. Better check the plugs.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
You hear me now. You realize?
By the way,
go
I
ahead.
actually answered. I kicked myself. I answered that question from the internet. One of the things that you never want to do is say yes. They'll call you and they say, "Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?" And you say yes. They record your voice saying yes. And then they use that to order things and say, you want to do such and such, and they give your voice.
You're
So the other
kidding.
party has got a recording of you saying yes to whatever that is they want to purchase.
Damn scammers, man.
The saving grace is that I use City Cards, and they have a feature called a virtual credit card number. So for all my online purchases, I go to the City Card website, I go to a virtual credit card and I make a virtual credit card that is in the amount of the purchase. It's good for one-time use and it expires next month. And then I
Really?
give them that number. So once they've used it, it's dead. I don't care who they give it
Always good to give a little public service there from time to time. when you just-
to.
How's
It's a
Bonnie?
wonderful feature.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Bonnie is okay, your lovely wife?
Oh, yes, she's off to the store at the moment.
Okay, and in 30 words or less, what's going on with the Santa Barbara Incredible Theater Organ Society that you're president of? You guys playing that big sucker down at Arlington?
Yeah, we actually played it yesterday, but we've had a bit of sadness. Our staff organist, Adam Aceto, his wife had worked for Disney. They furloughed her. She's now back working for Disney, but her job is in Orlando, Florida. So they're packed up and they travel next Friday and Saturday 2 times, and they already bought a house in Orlando. So we won't have him as our,
Wow.
we won't have him available to play, but he will be here for the International Film Festival, and he will play for a silent movie. Roger Durling really likes silence.
Roger Durling?
Well,
Roger
he's-
Durling,
That name just hit me. He directs the film festival.
you got
Okay.
it right.
We got some headlines of what we may or may not be talking about this hour. Saturn's moons, a dark nebula in the constellation Vulpecula. I think I've heard that on Star Trek. I don't know. And I had a quick question of the man who owns an incredible collection of meteorites, ChuckMcP. Have you ever heard of the Hoba meteorite in Namibia?
Oba, yeah, that's the big one.
I got to tell you, I just saw it on a video and it's 50 tons, 3 meters long, about a meter thick, and it fell in Namibia, which is southwestern Africa, right? There's a big, huge desert there. Some 80,000 years ago. You can go see that sucker.
Yeah, they just left it in the ground. It was too heavy to move.
It
I
looks
think
like
it's more than 50 tons too.
Is it
So
really?
what they do, build a museum around it?
No, it's out in the open. They have a fence around it. You can come visit and walk on it. Yeah, here we
Oh,
are.
okay.
Oh my God, you're awesome there, Tom Totten. How in the world? Yeah, I was going to say it's right there. It's got a little round arena, open pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, sure, they moved it. What kind of a hand truck could transport a 50-ton? You say it's more than
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a crater like that.
Except on the moon.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at that. Thank you, Tom.
Is it nickel iron?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, the two girls sitting on it really give scale to it, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
And it's not older than dirt, but it's damn close to the little one that's, how much does yours weigh that you hold in your hand, Chuck?
It's 5 pounds.
5 pounds, but it's still about the size of a book.
That
Look
could
at
be
that.
older than dirt.
I wonder if they charge to get into that. I didn't notice on my videos that I watched.
I don't know.
We got the night sky. We got 26 weeks behind us, and we're enjoying every bit of this because these guys open up. I call this our brain trust. Where would you like to start technically, Mr. President? Jerry Wilson.
Monday.
Say again?
Monday.
Oh, it is Monday. It's the 23rd, 2021 weekly podcast. Shall we do the night sky? Get it out of the way.
Yeah, the moon was just past full. I think it was last night or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was a true blue moon.
Yeah.
Is that the word I had here? Let's see. I got 4 degrees south of Neptune, 7 o'clock tonight. Very low in the eastern sky.
It won't be up for us.
Oh, it won't be? So
No.
this
Not at that time that they're close, but this shows it later when it is up for us.
Okay, so this is out of Astronomy Magazine, but designed for the East Coast, I guess.
No, this is out of my planetarium software, the Sky 6.
Oh, you got all kinds of sources. It's in Southeast Aquarius. Moon is very bright. Neptune is magnitude 8. Use binoculars if you want. Appears as a slightly
Now,
flat star.
Magnitude 8 is not visible to the naked eye.
Yeah,
Okay,
you'll
so-
need binoculars at least.
Yeah.
and a way to hold them steady. I'm thinking about investing in binoculars.
Yeah.
This didn't get answered. It said 2 brighter field stars gives their magnitude 6.5 or 7, form the apex of a triangle out there with the moon. and a fourth magnitude one star named Phi Aquarii as its base. So I don't know if that's pictured on there. 4 degrees north is the Circlet of Pisces.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's that thing over there. Identifying
so much-
individual stars is hard.
Bruce?
Well, we have so much smoke in our atmosphere, you can't see anything. Last night I could see 2 objects, the moon and Jupiter.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh
Yep.
man, the northwest and north of us and inland and the whole west coast is just astronomy has gone to hell because of the fires, hasn't it?
I've got 100% asteroid occultation tonight, and it's probably going to get smoked out.
Yeah.
What time you gonna
Sorry,
be out
guys,
there?
but I set up my telescope in my backyard and I brought all this fog in.
Yeah.
All right, what are we looking at here? Is this tonight's sky? Is that the moon? The bright
Yes.
part, is that the moon?
Yeah, this is in the east. This is the moon, the nearly full moon rising. It's near Neptune, the Circlet of Pisces up there.
Well, according to Creedence Clearwater, it's the bad moon rising.
Correct. Blue Moon was the name of a song that was popular when I was in high school.
Right. You left me standing alone.
Yeah.
Blue moon means there's 2 in a month, right?
No, Ron.
No.
This one's a true blue moon. The-
Which means
People have been using a wrong definition. Now they call the second full moon in a month a blue moon.
oh, the
But
second one.
That's from 1946 on. But the previous definition, and what I'm calling a true blue moon here,
I
is
see.
the third full moon in a season that has 4 full moons.
I see. I was wondering where you got that, Chuck.
Yeah, and that's a much rarer event.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you lost me because we get a full moon every month.
Right. But
And
the
this is
second full moon in a month is what they call a blue moon now, but it's really pretty common. What used to be called a blue moon is the third full moon in a season that has 4 full moons. A season is 3 months.
Yeah.
three
So,
different months.
Ron,
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
that to have a blue moon like Chuck is talking about, the new definition, I guess, is the phase cycle of the moon is 29 and a half days. So you have to have a month that's at least about 30 days long to have this happen. So you'll never get one in February. Okay. but you can get one in those months that have at least 30 days, but boy, it has to come in right on the front and it has to go out right on the end of that month,
But
Okay,
that's still more common than the third full moon in a season that has 4.
yeah.
But once again, Chuck, why is this one called a true blue moon? that we're
Because
looking at?
it's the third full moon in a season that has 4, which is the old definition of blue moon.
Yeah, I never knew that one, Chuck. That's pretty neat.
Okay.
What are you,
Because my
Chuck,
little
what are you
brother,
calling
I-
this? What,
Little brother yesterday in he's in Indianapolis, and he says, "Hey, I understand we're having a blue moon tonight." And I said, "Jim, how could that happen? It's only the 22nd of August." And so now I understand because of Chuck.
Yeah, this was the
Because of
original
Chuck.
definition was from the Old Farmer's Almanac, and
Okay.
it was sort of misconstrued in a 1946 article in Sky and Telescope,
Okay.
and given the new definition of second full moon in a month, and that one stuck because it's much easier to figure out.
Okay.
so Chuck, are you saying that the season is the summer season?
Yeah.
Okay.
So June 21st to September 21st.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought I had all these moons down, harvest moon, Indian moon, whatever. I was trying to find, because I've sort of encapsulated everything Jerry sent to me on the night sky every night this week. There was another one I'd never heard of. Maybe we'll come to it later. Nevertheless, Pisces is involved, the 2 heads of the fish. Phi Aquarii, is that on that screen? Is there a triangle there, gentlemen, that I'm missing?
Well, it's going to be one of those stars in Aquarius over there. The triangle is not going to show fully because a couple of those stars are too dim to see naked eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Circlet of Pisces being a constellation, but the Circlet's an asterism, just a little group of stars that wants to be a
Right.
constellation.
It's part of a constellation.
All right. It traces out the head of the 2 fish in the constellation. 7 stars in the Circlet, but I only have 6 listed here. Gamma, Beta, Iota, Lambda, and Kappa
Mhm.
Piscium in his orchestra.
I have the to keep the sky from getting very cluttered, I have the magnitude limited on some of those stars, so it doesn't fill up too much.
Okay. But those are all parts of Pisces, so they get Piscium. What the heck am I
Yeah,
saying?
Piscium.
Yeah, Jerry just loves me mangling these words.
Me
Okay.
too. Me too. After 4 years of Latin, this is a trip.
Is I see Jupiter on there. Is Neptune involved? Because that's what's in this notice, Monday, August 23rd.
Neptune's right dead center.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't see it on my screen. Oh, there it is. Barely there. Interesting.
Kind of in the glow of the moonlight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very close to
Very
the
bright.
moon.
Okay. Shall we go to Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Got a lot to talk about. The 24th tomorrow, dark skies, at least a 6-inch scope to check out a good old comet at 4P, comet 4P-Phae. Is that what we got on the screen? Sliding past Hyades.
It's in the Hyades,
Hyades,
and,
that's
and
what I
that's
said.
marked with the circle there. It's the central part containing Aldebaran of the Taurus constellation.
Okay. And the time to get out there and see it, the best time would be.
Yeah, it's a
midnight.
naked eye cluster. It's very big. It's
Mhm.
quite spectacular. It's real sparkly in a
Actually,
telescope.
This would be pre-dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
this is
right.
in the east.
Comes up at midnight and it doesn't get really viewable until about 2 hours before dawn.
Right.
Giving Taurus time to reach a better position higher in the sky.
Uh-huh.
Here's that other moon that I was telling you about. It's listed in the Tuesday talking points, the Gibbous Moon.
Uh-huh.
What the heck is that? Gibbous.
Gibbous refers to the phase, Ron. It means it's growing bigger.
It's the
Right.
shape between a half a moon and a full moon.
Yeah, it comes from
Right.
an old English word that means humpback.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Or better, between quarter moon and full moon, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
half
Quarter
a
and
moon is a
full.
quarter moon, but I didn't want to confuse the Baron.
Yeah.
Well, when we see a quarter moon, a quarter of the moon's surface is covered, but we see half of a full moon in the sky, don't
Right.
we?
Right,
You
but
see
it's
half of the disc.
It's a
I
quarter of
call it-
its way through its phases.
Right.
I call it the taco shell moon.
That's
Now
a
I
good
know-
one.
So to go further on the moon, it's there's a waxing gibbous, and then then you have the full moon, then you have the waning gibbous.
Yeah.
That's right.
When do we get a full? Next week?
No, we just
We
had
just had
it
a full.
One on.
Oh, it's waxing. It's not. Wait a minute, waning.
No,
Oh, yeah.
waning now.
It's now waning.
Is it waning
So-
outside, honey?
Not yet, no. That was an old
I know.
George Carlin joke that if you or on the weather, oh no, it was on Saturday Night Live. If you to do your own weather reporting, just stick your head out the window. If it comes back
Right.
wet, it's raining. So you see the constellation on the finder chart below Taurus is Orion. And that's the one that's up high in the evening in the middle of winter around
Mhm.
Christmas time. So right now, as Chuck pointed out, you have to look in the east just before sunrise to see it because
Right.
it's not toward the evening part of the sky yet.
Well, is anybody checking out the comet? 4P/Phae, F-A-Y-E. Is that
I keep trying, but the clouds and smoke keep getting in my way.
okay?
Ditto.
Apparently, it's in the stars of the bull's face of Taurus. It's a fuzzy magnitude 10. There's nothing there, just half a degree southeast of Epsilon Tauri and his orchestra. I love that Tauri. That's my song.
We're getting an echo on Ron for some reason.
Oh dear. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe if I turn my sound down.
Or it might be Tom's sound.
Yeah, it could be mine, possibly.
Yeah.
Well, at least we don't have that fuzzy gravelly going. With some of you that happens, maybe to me too. I've never heard. Now, what are we looking at here? That's
Well, we should be looking at the Hines variable nebula.
Well, this is the orbit of Comet Phae.
well, there
I
it is.
saw-
Yep. So it's close
okay.
to us. Well, I guess it's not close to us. There's Mars. It's beyond Mars's orbit, isn't it? Wow.
Mhm.
Fascinating stuff. From the Oort cloud, right?
This
I
is
don't
a
know the
periodic
origin of
comet, so
this.
it wouldn't be from the Oort cloud, except maybe originally.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not a regular like Halley's?
It's a periodic, yes.
Somebody named Faye found it. Okay, gentlemen. Moving right along. That's good. Good work there, Tom. Rest of you gentlemen. Asteroid, what's the name?
No, wait. We've got the second part of Tuesday where the Hines Nebula or the Variable Nebula that surrounds a T Tauri star. It fluctuates in brightness. The cloud also moves, obscuring starlight sometimes. So the nebula changes shape and it changes brightness. So it's been called the Variable Nebula.
Is it one of those planetary nebulas I learned about weeks ago?
No, it's a star embedded in, you can see in the picture, it's a star embedded in a dark nebula, and it lights up part of the dark nebula by reflection.
Oh, okay.
Well, it looks kind of red for reflection.
And you can see how it's kind of blown a cavity out of the gas.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of dust and gas in there, and the stuff does move slowly around in front of the star and block the light, and that illuminates some parts of the nebula, and then at other times that illumination is gone. So the nebula appears to change shape and brightness. It's a very effective phenomena, or impressive phenomena. You don't see it changing in one evening, though. You have to look at it over a period of time.
Do you think the veil there, that the stuff, the thing that's got a hole in it now,
Yeah.
was blown out of the way by the pressure of the light from the star, or the star suck it in?
Well, the gravity pulls it in. The solar or the stellar wind there blows it out. This is what happens when you have the early stages of star formation. When you have a dust cloud, you start with dust cloud, and then the dust gravitationally clumps into things. And when they clump, they heat. When they get hot enough, then they turn on, they start their fusion, they shine, and then they blow the rest of the dust away. And that's how you go from a nebula to a star cluster.
Oh, okay, good.
So this is in progress.
And the word is variable nebula. That means it balloons up or brightens and dims just like the variable stars.
Right. And it's detailed shape changes too.
Okay. Have you heard of a star called Tauri?
Yes.
It's a type of star. In Taurus, it was the first one discovered of that type.
And we think they're very young versions of stars, very much like the sun.
Yeah.
Right. Astronomer friend of mine used to call them baby suns.
Yeah. So that's just exactly what it's doing. It's now blowing the dust away that created it.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So it will stop accreting.
So none of you are going to train your telescopes tonight on that sucker. We just sort of know about it and want to tell people about it. You probably can't see it, too dim. Who knows? But I'm learning about
It does need a telescope.
Oh, okay. And it's nowhere near the comet. It's a different part of the sky.
Yeah, no, it's fairly close to the comet.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay, fascinating stuff. Thank you, Totten.
Now Wednesday.
Go to Wednesday, the 25th, as we do our 26th program. That's half of the shows, half a year. Start looking for asteroid 89 Julia.
Or is that Julia?
Or is it Julia?
Julia?
Out in the schoolyard there, an old Simon Garfunkel song.
Yeah, it's Julio.
Okay. Oh, Julio with an O. This will be about an hour after sunset, everybody. It's 22 degrees high and climbing in Aquarius. Discovered by a Frenchman, an astronomer named Edouard Stephan, back in August 1860.
This shouldn't be. Is that Jupiter after sunset? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Jupiter is past opposition. So it's up there just after sunset.
But see, it's right there near the horizon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Okay.
And Mr. Whittemore, I do have Julia written from the notes.
Yeah, it is Julia.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was just saying you were quoting a Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, yeah, me and Julio. You're right. It wasn't Julia.
Right.
So, and it was
That
just
was
Simon.
Julia's brother.
And he discovered it in Corsica. It's let's see, it sits 13.7 degrees northeast of Jupiter. There you go. Now in Capricornus. Closer still is Sadal Melik,
Yeah, that's shown in the Finder chart.
Oh, it's on there.
Yeah,
Aquarius is third magnitude alpha star.
yeah,
Julian,
it's much closer to Saddle Melic than it is to Jupiter.
two guys, one named Saddle, the other named Melik, must have discovered that.
No.
Really?
No,
What's the name?
has
What
to
is
do with
it?
the Arab word for luck.
Oh, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a degree and a half. You search fast. If you search fast, the moon rises quickly and will obliterate the sky. I guess about 9:40 p.m. on Wednesday night. Julia is at magnitude 8.9. Could be washed.
Yeah, this
out.
is looking east.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Oh,
makes sense.
well. The moon's filling up. It's somewhere in the vicinity, wouldn't you think?
Yeah,
It's about to rise, or probably an hour or so from rising in this photo.
yeah.
Does that old Earth satellite drive you guys nuts a lot of times? Because
What are
it's
satellite? You mean the Starlink?
just being
He means
trying to
the
see
moon.
something else, and it's washed out by the moon.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know not to try between, I don't do any photography between the first quarter and last quarter.
Well, Bruce is out there making up for it, boy. He's doing a lot of photography.
Yeah.
Went all the way up to West Camino Cielo several Fridays ago and got some great pictures of Milky Way. What else shall we cover on there? Pisces and Cetus. It's part of my law firm, Pisces and Cetus. Moon tonight on Wednesday night will straddle the border.
Do you remember the Three Stooges law offices?
Yes. Do we cheat them and how?
Yeah, do we cheat them and how?
I think there was a Cheatham and Run Street corner, a combination there. Okay, is there more to talk about on Wednesday? Should we go to Thursday?
Thursday.
Saturn, big time. Got lots on Saturn. Had an extra story. Let's kind of meld them all together. Titan, sitting about, just south of its parent planet. Find them in Capricorn, above the horizon, in the southeast sky after sunset. Largest moon Titan, the one with the atmosphere, the one we set a probe down on.
Now, when I used to do outreach with Chuck with my 5-inch refractor, I could see Saturn very nicely and usually Titan, and then just at the limit of viewing, one or two other moons, but nothing like what you see here. This would be in a larger telescope, probably like Chuck's, what is it, 9.5 inch?
9.25, yeah.
9.25, and someone has an 11-inch out there occasionally.
Yeah. Or a really nice night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now all those moons are on pretty much the same ecliptic,
Same
Yes.
plane, yes.
a plane, and Titan would be the furthest out of all those named there.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
I don't know.
I think
the order of
Iapetus and
those.
Hyperion are farther, but I'm not sure.
Okay, it doesn't have an IO though, does it? A nasty one in close.
No, it doesn't have a real close-in volcano. That was the rings, and they tore themselves apart.
Yeah. Enceladus Enceladus is very much like Europa,
Wow.
but not like Io.
Yeah, it's
But
water.
like Europa with the ice and the ice volcanoes, cryovolcanoes.
Is it
Okay.
Enceladus that's supposed to have more water than the Earth on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
Europa.
but it's
And
all,
Europa, yeah.
they think it might even be liquid underneath a icy crust.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They can,
What about
see it, they can see it leaking out and sometimes jetting out.
Uh-huh.
Geysers.
What about the dwarf planet Ceres? Does that have more water too than Earth?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Do some
Except it's
great ice
ice.
fishing, great ice fishing on those moons.
So
Uh,
if Ceres crashed onto Earth, the drought would be over.
Yeah.
Oh, everything would be over.
Everything would be over. Yeah.
Be like that planet that what's his name landed on in the movie Interstellar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All
With the
water,
tides.
and there's a 10-mile high wave coming at you. Never mind.
Well, it's very close to a tidal source. So, oh, well, yeah, I forgot.
10th magnitude satellite Tethys, is it on there? Yeah, there
Yep.
it is.
It is.
As well as Rhea to the east, or no, to the, I can't even read my writing here. East, yeah. East means left or right when you're looking in the sky at something.
It depends. It changes with every scope. It's because it depends how many mirrors you have inside your system.
I know what it means for us down here on Earth, the eastern sky versus the western, and directions here, but in space,
if you were looking with a non-flipped view with just your eyes and you could see Saturn, then east as it was rising would be to your left.
Ah,
okay.
Really?
Or down, I guess you could say. And when it's setting, if it were over in the west, then east would be up, but still kind of to its left, depending how you twist your head.
When I'm trying to take pictures and orient things in systems in my scope, but I'm looking at a screen, a video screen or a computer screen, I have to move things east or west to calibrate which is east and west on the screen. And then I'll put a little mark in erasable pencil or something on the screen.
do you suppose the late, great Cassini orbiter passed every one of these?
Oh, yes, I think so.
No, well,
Maybe not super close up.
yeah. We got photos of all of them and went close to Titan to drop off the European probe.
Now, there are some shepherding rocks in the middle of the rings. Are they considered moons?
Some of them are.
We got some interesting stuff here, gentlemen, about Saturn. Once I get through the night sky, this is Thursday when we'll all be watching Saturn. Is there a reason why? Is it peak on that night, do you suppose? Or they just
No, it's because of the big bright moon. You can't find a lot of faint fuzzies, so the focus is on point sources and bright things.
And this is when Titan will be directly south, so that makes it a little easier to identify it.
Right.
Okay, you're going to need to explain this again to all of us. Just 2 weeks past opposition at magnitude 0.2, visible all night. Best to use a telescope. Saturn to view the rings. Are they about to go edge on and thus disappear?
No.
They're not, because it talks about that. It's fascinating stuff. It becomes just a normal planet when we see the rings edge on. Very
For a while, it
thin.
looked like punctuation.
What
You know,
does?
right before it does a ring plane crossing, it looks like punctuation. It looks like dash, dot, dash.
Tom, if you look at the website information, the URL there I put in the text, you'll see it illustrates the rotation or the tipping of Saturn's rings.
Let's, oh yeah, where did I see that? I had that. Hold on.
They're always tipped to us pretty much, aren't they? Do they ever go level or tip
Yes,
the other direction?
that's the
That's
ring
when they
plane crossing
disappear.
when they disappear.
Oh,
Oh,
there it
okay.
is. All right, hold on.
Somebody
Little
answer
GIF
that.
here.
Okay. Only about 100 yards thick. And I guess the whole ring system would fit between us and the moon, but that's still 200 and almost a 250,000 miles.
See, this is
I
what it
shared
looks like.
I shared a picture that I put together
Oh.
where
Look at that.
I forgot which spacecraft it was. It took a picture of Saturn from the backside where it had obliterated the sun. And that's where they found this even larger ring. Well, I put the Earth and our moon to scale in that picture. Let's see if I can share it here.
So,
Well, I can't because you're trying to share other things. It won't work.
Ron, and so you see that over the year, you see the Saturn has those different aspects. The tilt is what it presents to the Earth. And you see at some time the ring is right straight in line with us. Could you show it again, Tom? And it's and it completely disappears.
Because it's only about a football field thick.
I heard it's about 3 stories high, or about 45 or 50 feet. But
Yeah, I've heard 30 feet even. So
yeah, but they claim it's like 100 yards, and I don't know. So, but you see the rings completely disappear right there, and there.
Right. You have to be real fast there, Tom, to catch it on the.
Yeah, I can't stop it. So.
Well,
and
this is
the
a whole.
graphic
This
probably
is a
doesn't
whole.
have enough resolution to really show it
Yeah.
well.
What's the period of Saturn's orbit? I know Jupiter's 12 years. This is what,
30.
29, yeah.
29.
Yeah.
29.5,
Yeah, so this
30.
is.
High 20s.
It takes 29 years to cycle through all this for us.
Well, assuming your Galileos and the ancients looked at this on a regular basis, it must have driven them nuts.
Well, Galileo was the first one to see this. You know, you can't see the rings with your eyes.
Well, I know
So-
that, but if he watched over many years, they'd disappear at some
He
point,
did.
wouldn't they?
He did with his he first looked at it, he couldn't tell they were rings because it was near a ring plane crossing. So he said it was a planet with big ears. And then he got another scope and he was looking again and it was on ring plane crossing and they disappeared. And so he thought, oh boy, that previous scope really wasn't very good. And then he looked again a little bit later. They're only gone for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And he looked again later and boom, they were back. So he didn't know what was going on. They didn't figure out it was a ring until 50 years later with Huygens had a better scope.
Well, do we call the edge on ring crossing?
Yeah.
Okay, and that happens every, what,
15 years.
10 years?
15.
Oh, 15.
15. Yeah, because the cycle it's a 30-year orbit and it passes through 2 ring planes in that orbit.
Okay, well, the next time we were supposed to see it is 2025 in a little less than 4 years, but it'll be too close to the sun to observe. Next observable to us, you're right, it's about 15 years, 2038.
Yeah.
And animated Wikipedia video.
I'm getting ready to photograph it in 2038.
Me too.
We're getting ready to put a Tesla dummy in your new car and send it out in space, maybe. But
Elon already did that.
well, that's true. You're right. That poor thing. With our bright moon, you might just be able to see Titan a couple degrees east. There it is. Which side east is which side of the moon is?
This is a different night.
Okay. Well, that's just an extra paragraph attached to Thursday, I guess.
Yeah. It's
Or
just
a bit
in
of
general
Saturday.
about Saturn.
How long does it stay on edge and invisible? How many days or
A couple of hours.
That's it?
That's it.
We slowly start seeing a little thin line emerge.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Since it's just our faces on the screen where I said, you want to talk about dark nebula in the constellation Vulpecula?
Let's look at this very dramatic Cassini picture of Saturn and the rings from up above and behind, slightly behind. It's an aspect of Saturn we will never see from Earth, but it's very
We got
pretty.
it queued up. Tom Totten, can you show that? Ooh, that's a real picture. That's not a drawing or
Right.
computer generated graphic.
No. That's from Cassini. You can see the shadow of the rings on the ball of the planet
Right.
off to the left there. And then you can see the shadow of the planet on the rings on the right.
Very nice.
And occasionally we can catch a glimpse of the shadow on the rings just on the edge of Saturn when
Yeah, we
it's
just look around.
and it makes it look very 3D.
Supposedly, what I read in the notes from President Jerry were the ones of you who have a great telescope should be able to see a few storms on Saturn, little white blobs.
If they're happening.
If they're happening, really?
Yes, Saturn's not as easy to view that way as Jupiter is.
Must not be hurricane season like it is here. But of course, Jupiter is all color. That's fascinating stuff.
I think Saturn has a better mixed atmosphere than Jupiter does.
Yeah.
And they're still wading through that Cassini data, aren't they? They got jillions of gigabytes.
And one thing they found interesting about watching very closely at ripples in the rings is that Saturn's core seems to also be the way Jupiter's core is. It's very large and diffuse. It's not differentiated down into a dense center and then the metallic hydrogen. It seems to be a large metallic hydrogen core with the silicates and iron and things just dissolved in it. And it kind of sloshes around, and that causes ripples in the rings. And they've been able to, over a long period of time with Cassini, watch the ripples in the rings and do a CAT scan basically of the interior of Saturn and see what the core was like. And it gave them a better rotation period. We used to think Saturn rotated in 9 hours. And I think that was based on its magnetic field or something. And now they've got a better handle on that. The core at least goes around in 10 hours.
Wow. Well, a question about the big six-sided thing on the roof of Saturn on the North Pole, right on the top. Did they find that with Cassini? They had no idea that existed before?
Right.
Wow. Because nature out in the cosmos doesn't normally take other shapes than balls and lines, pretty
Oh,
much.
I don't know about that. Look at all the seed patterns and flowers. Look at all the intricate spirals, Fibonacci rules
Yeah.
and stuff. I think
I said-
nature is full of all these
I
interesting
said nature out in
patterns.
space, you know. You
Yeah.
don't see too many cubes being formed around planets or around stars.
Well, a sphere is the minimum energy shape for all that matter.
Yeah, but you see very few triangles on anything, except we make them from stars, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating stuff. I guess they have an explanation for that. It's a bunch of storms on North Pole of Saturn, I suppose.
I think the record for storms is on Uranus or Neptune at 300 miles an hour or 400 or something.
Oh, it's
Try 1,000.
like 1,000.
Yeah, 300
it
miles
is.
an hour is Jupiter. Neptune is like 1,200 miles an hour.
Oh, okay.
Jupiter just
I
barely.
knew Neptune was the best.
I got you. And there's one white storm on, what is it, Neptune or Uranus? That's
The
all.
one on Neptune comes and goes.
Okay, we don't have them in our binocular eyesights today, but that's a great shot of Saturn with the rings. And I still have questions. Are there a number of, do they have them all counted? Are there 4,227 individual rings?
Well,
Lined-
you know,
lined up?
they're just a storm of particles, Ron. So it's kind of,
But you
I
can
mean,
see.
there are lots of
separation.
little divisions.
Okay,
And they're braided.
Yeah.
Yeah, the F ring.
That's kind of like that old joke about how the cowboys count how many horses they have.
how?
As they go through a gate, they count their hooves and divide by 4.
Yeah.
Tom,
Yeah.
Tom, I sent you the graphic I put together of Saturn from the backside with Earth and the Moon in there.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it here.
Yeah,
Well, I
Jerry,
just emailed it.
Jerry, your comment reminds me of the answer to the question, how many feet in a yard? You count the people, multiply by 2.
Here you go. Ta-da-da-da-da-da.
All right, I'll show.
Why did I think of a
Bruce?
striped sport coat, a straw hat, and a cane then? Just had a flash.
Tom Totten, what are you gonna do?
Show Bruce's image that I just sent here, I think. Hope this is it. Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
what is that?
That's the Moon over there on the right and the Earth on the left, and it's all to scale.
Well,
Now-
the planetary sizes aren't quite to scale, but the distances are, yeah.
Yeah. The picture of Saturn is one also from Cassini, but it's taken from directly behind.
Exactly.
So
It
this is
obliterates the sun.
right.
Oh, the sun's behind it.
So
back
that's
there?
when they found that ring that's very faint and fuzzy. They couldn't see that from the Earth, but they now saw it from Cassini because it's backlit, or it's forward lit, I should say.
Wow.
And that's the orbit of Enceladus, and it's barfing out the ice crystals.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm imagining, gentlemen, that science and modern astronomy assumes, even though they can't see them, that most of your big gas exoplanets have some rings, because I guess all of ours do, don't they?
Yeah.
Even Jupiter, but we don't see
Well,
Jupiter.
it probably depends how close they are to their star. If they're really close in, I don't know if a ring would be stable.
And yeah, I think all rings are to some degree temporary. I know at one point, if someone had looked at the Earth, it would have had a big ring around it. It was going to become the moon.
Hey, Tim has a question for us. Let me see if I can get to the chat
Mhm.
here.
Okay.
Let's see what I find. A couple things. I'm probably late in getting to his chat. Let me see if I can find it so I can show you what it says. No,
Yeah,
not that.
Tim Crawford.
Not that.
Bill's a great telescope, that man.
Maybe it's this one.
Several.
Oh, can you see a chat on? No, I don't think that's going to work.
I see good morning.
Yeah, you see good morning. It says, Tim Crawford says, okay, I finally got the stream. It froze, wasn't there? Okay, now okay. Howdy. Chat wasn't showing either. Wonder if anyone else had problems. Then he says, okay, does the moon or other planets' moons have tectonic plates? If not, why are there moonquakes?
Well,
Ah.
moonquakes could happen because the moon is cooling off and shrinking. So you could have little jolts there. Also, there's stuff hitting it.
Right.
Some of the moons, like Europa and Ganymede have plates that you can see that move around, but I don't know if it's quite like tectonic plates. It's more like ice flows that collide into each other and things that you'd have here.
Haven't they determined on Mars, they've pretty much locked up? There's no tectonic
Yeah.
plates.
Yeah.
But if you say it's cooling, the moon is cooling, it means there got to be some heat down there.
Yeah.
Not enough to crack through the surface like Iceland these days. Can we, let me read one quick President Jerry forwarded cartoon in case you missed it. If you can call it up in time, Tom, great. For the poor guy sitting in his house with a big hole on one wall. And the opposite
Yeah,
wall.
right.
Went through the house, it hit the barn, went across the field back into space. Fortunately, the asteroid 2012 DA14 just missed Earth as calculated. Later on, we'll do the guy in the robot. That was also.
Damn it.
Can you get it? That's all right. I
got it.
described it.
I don't know what happened to it.
We got less than 15.
Oh, here it is.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Share
Guy
screen.
sitting there in his living room, and it went right through the living room.
And it looks like his wife went with it if you look carefully.
Some shoes there.
Oh, no. Hold on. Here we
Here
go.
it comes. I got confidence in you, Totten. You're awesome. Ta-da! Fortunately, the asteroid. Is there an asteroid 2012 DA14?
Yep.
So it was discovered 9 years ago? Or
Yep.
DA,
Or at least its orbit was finalized.
Yeah.
Okay, did it threaten us? Or is it threatening us?
Not this
Well-
close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, is it only 2 meters across?
Yeah.
2 meters.
I think it's a bit bigger than that.
You'd think that hobo one in Namibia would have done some damage, wouldn't you? Maybe it did. Talked about it at the beginning. Alien life. What do we got? Look on the bright side. We got first place in the extraterrestrial science fair. Couple of humans in a jar. Yeah, I remember that. The other one forwarded the guy sitting in his rowboat fishing, and some fluffy clouds above him formed themselves into some nasty words. And it says, understanding only German, Fritz was unaware the clouds were starting to look threatening. And they formed the words, hey, what the heck are you looking at, buddy? You want trouble? Well, by golly, you're found it right here. I think that's, I don't know where you get those. Don't tell us.
It's from the
That's a
far
Far
side.
Side. That's a Far Side.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
That's a
really?
Far Side cartoon.
Oh, it is.
The first Far Side cartoon I ever saw and introduced me to that guy was this guy standing at a window, and he had a whole bunch of cut off human feet in his arms. And the window said, change feet to meters. And he's going up and they dump the meters. And then there was a whole bunch of meters that they pick up. And I thought, this guy's got my sense of humor.
Yeah, but he stopped. He stopped producing years ago. Fascinating stuff. Well, that
Okay,
pretty
let's
much-
move on to NGC 3664. It's got a catchy name, just rolls off the tongue. But it's in the picture. It's not the bright yellow star. It's the odd long aquamarine colored thing up in the upper left. And it is basically a barred spiral galaxy after some kind of a collision or close pass. And you can see that it has a central bar and it has one spiral ring left. And the not shown is the H2 regions of the cloud, and they are similarly distorted. So this is an escapee from a drive-by collision somewhere. I think this was one of the things what Houghton Art found and started his odd objects catalog or something
Peculiar
like
galaxies. Yeah.
that. That's it.
And that would be in my notes under what that you sent us, Jerry? Just curious. That's not.
That's down under Saturn.
Oh, it's part of the Saturn thing.
No, it's below the Saturn thing.
Oh,
It's
the
called
next
Interesting
topic.
Pictures.
oh, okay. Peculiar galaxies.
Images, interesting images.
Yeah, interesting images.
Well,
Another interesting image is the Swedish submillimeter radio telescope. That was a nice picture of it, and someone had identified all the stars in the southern sky up there, which we don't see from here. But it's a very large radio telescope capable of looking at the core of the galaxy.
Wow.
And you can see the Southern Cross there, and it has 2 pointer stars, Alpha
Yeah.
Centauri and Beta Centauri.
Huh. Are we looking at these, gentlemen? With your
Tom's looking for it.
no, but are you looking at them recently? Is it a night?
No, these are Southern
No,
Hemisphere.
Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, the southern. This is not available to us. Wow. Does that show up as a little white dot like a star would, or?
Well, that's the wrong picture. We're looking.
Yeah.
This is a radio telescope that we're looking for.
Oh,
Hold on.
So the next picture down after
There
there
we
you go. And it shows a real nice graphic of the southern constellation. A lot of these things are named after instruments. And I think there was a constellation of a big boat, and then it was broken up into parts of a boat to make other constellations because it was too big.
Argo Navis.
Argo
Yeah.
Navis. Yeah, Argo Navis.
Yeah, I've got telescopium and microscopium over on the left with the micro cut off. And that's below Sagittarius, which is as far south as we can see.
question, Mr. President, about radio telescopes.
Yeah.
They receive on a concave bowl the frequencies on the electromagnetic spectrum below sight and colors, right?
Lower energy than sight and color, but longer wavelength. This particular telescope looks in the sub-millimeter range. So the light that it looks at is shorter than 1 millimeter wavelength. So it's not, radio waves can be up to meters long. This one is sub-millimeter. So it's looking in, you might consider this super far infrared.
Gives us a totally different picture than a telescope regular.
It gives us a picture of something at that wavelength. It is a telescope, but it looks at one. These things don't look at, they don't expose like a piece of film that's extended and gets the whole picture at once. They look at one point and they measure the amplitude at that point, and they build up a picture 1 pixel at a time by scanning over a little square region in the sky.
We'll generally have a number of receivers, like 19, that are the focus of the scope. So they don't get just 1 point, they get 19 points.
Are you talking about the very large arrays where they're all pointed the same, but it's a big?
Yeah, that's
no. In the focal plane of this telescope, they have a receiver. They actually have 19 receivers, 19 little horns that are kind of in a geometric. So they get just one in the sky. They get 19 points in the sky that are isolated, so they can
break it up a little.
An image.
Yeah, that's a technique too. And then then they have arrays of antennas all over the place to get other points or to concentrate on one point. There's various ways of building it up.
Well, if they have arrays, then they can build synthetic aperture, and they get much higher resolution.
Yeah, that's the point of a lot of the arrays and stuff. Let's see, where is it? Radio waves, toasters, microwaves. This is a cartoon, so it might not be radio, exactly.
Yeah, it looks like it's in the toaster and microwave region there.
It's at the microwaves. It's at the left edge of the microwaves, right at that line where it says cell phone, cancer rays, aliens, SETI, Wi-Fi, in there.
Well, visible light is slightly less than a micron. It's 0.4 to 0.7, and a millimeter is 1,000 microns.
Right. So anyway, and this is a wonderful site. This is KXRC or something like that.
XKCD.
XKCD, thank you. It's a bunch of really clever cartoons. It's very nerdy, but some of them are kind of leave me flat, but a lot of them are just hysterical and profound. Yeah, XKCD, yeah.
Well, now this is the range on the electromagnetic spectrum that SETI is on, isn't it? Trying to find signals from
It's around in there, yeah.
Okay.
But different philosophies have different approaches to SETI. It's not just one wavelength. They looked optically, they looked for laser interactions, all sorts of things. A new one is going to try to use the James Webb scope, which is in the infrared, because they figure if there's a civilization out there on a planet, it's going to be dumping a lot of excess heat from its energy use on the planet. And that would show up as very long wavelength IR. So if the spectrum is out of balance and biased toward the long IR, that would be then a super candidate for further examination.
And early searches centered on the 21 centimeter wavelength of ionized hydrogen, because that's a common signal that people might be looking at. So if you send a signal on that, there's more of a chance that people might get it. Other civilizations might be also looking at, hydrogen clouds.
But infrared is considered radio waves, not part of the visible spectrum?
You can consider it either way, whichever you like. You can't see it, so it's not visible.
How about ultraviolet?
Ultraviolet, you can't see that either. Although a friend of mine just got his cataracts replaced, and he in one eye but not the other, and he notices that he sees a lot more blue in the aftermarket lens eye.
Really?
And less blue in the stock lens that came with his body.
Well, I don't suppose we have any instruments that can pick up the really strong upper magnetic spectrum stuff like gammas and X-rays, do we?
Sure.
Oh yeah, we pick those up, measure them all the time.
What does
We
it
even
look
make X-ray telescope, and that's a whole story in itself. They're extremely hard to make because X-rays just go right through everything you would think of making a telescope out of.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. So I'll have a little 5-minute blurb on it one time.
All right.
I used to work in the world, so yeah.
We're also going to have an interesting discussion of eclipses from Mr. Whittemore, our incredible ex-Westmont professor. I call him a professor. He was a great teacher in the lab. And you're not going back, are you, Tom? You're going to hinge your career on bread from now on.
Well, Tom was just going to say something about working with X-ray telescopes, I think.
Well, can you do it?
I was just going to say that when I was at the Lockheed Research Labs, I was with a group and we were imaging the solar corona, which is about 2 million kelvins. And we basically took conventional telescope mirrors and then coated them with multi-layers so that the X-rays actually bounced back. So they didn't go right through, but actually bounced back. And we did some really fine imaging of the sun in the X-ray that actually made Time magazine at one time. So
Oh, great.
Wow.
Well, Spitzer uses grazing reflections to create the image.
Right, that's the traditional way, Bruce.
Yeah.
That's traditional, and the efficiencies are not very good.
Well,
No.
Spitzer was infrared.
I'm sorry,
I think
that-
he means
Spitzer is
XMM
infrared,
Newton and Compton, or
Yeah,
Compton is gamma rays.
yeah.
Well, the one that's got a bunch of
we were
slots.
getting in the lab, we were getting about 40% reflectance, which was just phenomenal.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah.
Well, let's take our last minute to look at the last interesting picture, which shows two galaxies near
Colliding.
each other. They're both spiral galaxies. One is face on to us, and one is obliquely angled to us. And you can see they're just starting the collision process. There's one of the spiral arms from the lower galaxy is now being pulled up into the upper galaxy. So they're just starting the interaction period, it looks like. Because there's no other distortions to the galaxies, and passing that close to each other, if this was a separation, they would be much more highly distorted.
Yeah, that's
How far
amazing.
apart are they? Like a light year, several light years?
I would say that scaling it from ours, ours is 100,000 light years across the disk. So the two centers look like they're about 1 to 200,000 light years apart, maybe a little larger.
Good call.
If we got this picture, could we do a time lapse over a few weeks and see,
Yeah, right.
see if it changes?
Yeah,
Over 200,000 years, maybe.
I'm not going to wait up.
Jerry,
You also need to know what the perspective is as far as which one's farther in the background and farther in the foreground, too,
Yes.
to really know how close they are.
That's right.
And they're turned different angles to each
Picking
other.
up a very distant galaxy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the background there's a couple.
Beautiful.
They-
Jerry, Jerry, what does ARP mean? ARP.
That's Halton's last name, Halton Arp.
Halton
Who
Arp.
did the peculiar
His
galaxy.
galaxy of his catalog of unusual beasts and where to find them.
Right.
Are there a lot of those
He's
collisions?
associated with Caltech.
Got to be a lot of those
There he is.
collisions going on in the galaxy, wouldn't you think? Oh, there he is, Captain Arp and his orchestra.
Yeah, Jerry, I think he's still alive, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he
Well,
did a lot of work in the mid
I
60s.
stopped looking at things like that because most of the people I had as professors in grad school that I liked very much are gone, and that's
Yeah.
it. As Robert Heinlein said, time has made me a stranger in my own land.
There you go, stranger in a strange land.
Oh,
Yeah,
he is
Tom,
dead.
Tom is showing
is
that he
dead.
died in 2013 here.
2013.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was a Canadian, right?
Wow, we
He
love
says
our-
New York.
Okay.
Well, I hope one of your wives has baked a cake for our 26th half-year show. Congratulations. We're on a roll. We're enjoying these get-togethers. It's every Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen, 11 to noon, our podcast. Somebody suggested we might move it tonight, perhaps. I don't know. Kick that around next time. President Jerry, both Toms, Chuck, and Bruce, we'll see you next week on our 27th as we start our next second year and get that third shot. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
stay healthy.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right, take care.